like how you actually, where you focus your energy on. And the second part was, how do you maybe get a couple listings and maybe get a couple buyers? Just do one of those things, you know, tie it together and see what kind of success you have. Does that sound fair? You guys excited?
Yes.
Okay. Now, typically people at this point sometimes want to learn more about the training program. I want to honor the Market Center's protocol. If you guys don't want to hear about it, I'm not going to talk about it. If you do want to hear about it, I can explain a little bit about, okay. Is it okay just to give them a quick rundown? And,
everybody's okay with that?
yeah, and if you're not, you know, I'm essentially done. I was glad to have you here, and I appreciate it because it helps me. Okay,
Can you
let's
talk
go.
about it while they eat their getting cold pizza?
Yes, oh, we got pizza. Oh, holy cow, we got to put our priorities straight. Yeah, pizza's always number one.
You're great if you are. You doing good? Yeah, good.
You know, that's why you can start with your sphere of influence.
Oh, just trying.
How many people, you know how many times you're
I would say look at it.
Yes, I do.
You know, it's real easy. I can tell you real quick trick to get started. Just create your own Excel spreadsheet. Even if you don't know how to create Excel, just create a Word document and create a chart. And then across the top is going to be name, phone number, email, physical address, and something like comments, or something like that. And then the rows are all the people. But here's what I do, because I just think I went through it. I was architect, beekeeper, then it's all the way when you meet somebody new, it's usually the second thing that so we associate people with what they do. That's why I use that category vocation to identify people. And I went from 20 people to 200 people, you know. And I just, what I did is I'm kind of old-fashioned, so I handwrote it in first. Then I went back and typed it. Because usually I'm thinking about it, I'm on the road or I'm in the kitchen or whatever. And I did that for about 10 or 15 minutes.
You should have a lot of investors at the marina.
What I did is I had a little column and I would literally go through and ask, how do I
Takes a lot of money to
what do I
keep a boat.
remember about them?
I know.
And how likely are they to be?
And, you know, all those people at the marina probably have some money.
Hey, I wish I had some money. Or I just took a course on doing
Well, one of my biggest investors is Larry
start with
Silver.
those.
Behind the door, behind Debbie.
Doesn't have a mortgage on it.
Just start with your own guys. You can send them this information. I give you everything.
He's the one that buys the junkers. And I don't care because he goes, I send it to his son. His son gives it to him. I get a little box, they're all REO properties. He goes and looks at them, calls me up, says, come get the check.
That's how you want to start. Start
I
with
go, can't even email, he doesn't do email. I go over with the contracts, he signs everything, gives me a check.
I'm sure
yeah.
I can knock on those, because I know them.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll invite them to my seminar.
It still is a relationship. This is the drawer. It always is easier to start with than to go first. You know, because they know you. They know you.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's a little bit awkward at the beginning.
Organized. What do you think?
I think that's the thing that I've got to do. Definitely. That would have been so much easier.
Have you had any success so far? Just working with neighbors and relatives?
Okay. And then that's we need more.
This is
Oh, good, thank you.
okay. I'm just going to throw that out.
All right. How was that? Hit the spot, right? Little pizza?
Yeah, that's okay. It's better to have an I and S. Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna, if you know, I'm gonna share with everybody.
Hey guys, while you're getting your pizza, what's your first name? Debbie? I just was sharing with Debbie a technique I used when I first got my license of how to build my initial sphere of influence, my contact management system. I just went on Word document, created a simple word chart, and the rows were name, phone number, email, physical address, and comments, like what I knew about them. And my first cut at it, I had like 20 people. I thought, well, this is bad. But what I did is actually John Zister told me this. He said, get the phone book out, and on the rows, about every 10th row, put a row in there and put in category from the phone book. Architect, beekeeper, chiropractor, dentist, engineer. And I went all down like that. And the reason is, if you think about it, when you meet people at a party, for example, what's the second sentence, the second question you ask those people? What do you do? What do you do? So we associate people with what they do. And that helped me tremendously. It was one of the biggest tricks I ever got from John is, if I had the categories and I could identify, I know an accountant, I know a chiropractor, I know a dentist. And I started filling it. I did that for about 10 or 15 minutes every day. And after about a week, I had my 200. The goal was to get you to 200 people. And I got to 200 people. And remember, they kept me back in a cold computer room. They didn't allow me to meet people in the bank. So, but keep that in mind if you're just starting off, or if you don't have your own contact management system. Start with that. I even filled it in by hand. I wrote in, and then I typed it in later on. And now it's more sophisticated than that. I mean, now we've got all kinds of tools. Keller Williams gives you all that stuff to use. And you've got your e-edge. You've got 2 websites they give you automatically. All kinds of marketing. Has everybody here gone online to their own personal website to see all the stuff that's available? It is amazing what Keller Williams gives you. Pretty awesome stuff. So, okay. So in any case, let me see here. What we do is, and I'm going to hand these out. And for those of you, oh, they worked on that. If it's not the thing for you, don't worry about it, because it's not for everybody. I just hope that you got something today, even if you just stick with the documents, that you can actually use. And all this is like a feature sheet. I just need to make this easy on myself. 1, 2, 3 there. That's okay. You guys can keep these if you want. I'm assuming if you're here, you're interested in learning more. And I will come back around and get you on the time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those guys should get one of the back there. So when we first rolled this out last year, we did a beta test, and we taught this in a 3-day period, and we had some decent results. Statistically speaking, it was working. But I wasn't satisfied with that, because when I brought my business into Keller Williams, I actually took 36 people through both. And my former wife was a teacher, both grandmothers were teachers, and there's a teaching methodology called experiential learning. So there's academic learning and experiential learning. Experiential learning is sort of like on-the-job training. You actually practice what you're learning as you go along. And you do it in modules, you do it in steps. So module 2 is built on module 1, module 3 is built on module 2. It's easier to retain the information. Matter of fact, you retain greater than 80% of it that way. And then more importantly, you actually get to start making money while you're going through the program, you know? Matter of fact, I'll just tell you, usually there's 6 modules, usually around module 4. Remember, modules 3 and 4 are the behavioral skills. That's when all of a sudden everybody's like, I got it. And you want to get out there and go do your workshop or whatever it is you want to, whatever method you like. It's usually at that point people start making offers, getting offers accepted. And then another 30, 45 days later, you're starting to cash checks. So I like the methodology better. It takes more time. And here's how we roll it out. Every week, by the way, we're starting another group on the week after Easter. So that's 2 weeks. 6 modules. It's delivered to you electronically, so nobody has to drive. That was the other thing. We didn't want to have people driving to different locations because you have children and elderly parents and stuff like that. So every module is audio-visual. We deliver it electronically. You take it on your own, you just take it within that week. Also during that week, we have a live, I call it a coaching call, it's a training call, and it's actually online also, so it's audio and video. Well, I'll put stuff up on it. I'll give you an example. Last week we had a student in Virginia Beach, Virginia. She had a client looking at an $850,000 5-unit building. Now I knew intuitively, there's no way that's going to fly, because it was only bringing in $1,000 a month rent per unit. So I said, let's use the calculator. So we use this calculator right here. Whoop. The opportunity evaluator. So let's exercise the system and plug that property in and see if it'll work. And we spent about a half hour. You could do it in 60 seconds, but I wanted her to play with it. And we did it was live. It was a live demonstration. You plug in the values, and all the formulas are done for you. All the debt coverage ratios, net operating income, cash on cash returns, all done for you. And we tried to play with that property as much as we could to make it work, because you want to start thinking creatively through this. How can I make this work? Because not every deal is going to look good right on the surface, but you might be able to structure it in a way to make it work. We played with the price and the rents, all kinds of stuff. We couldn't make it work. So at the end of the day, she knew that property was not going to work. And now, more importantly, she could show it to her clients, right? You see? So it's all in the job training. In any case, you get the...
Now, let me ask you a question. On that calculator, can you get to a price where it works?
Oh yeah, because you can change it all you want. You can change
Right,
your...
so 850 doesn't work, but 450 works.
Actually, it was 400 on that one. 400 worked, yeah. And you can change the loan terms. You can change your expenses. And the reason I like that, by the way, is it has all the expenses, everything from pest control to snow removal to permits and all these little things, legal costs that I know in my MLS, we're only given like the taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs, and like 5 things, and that's it. If you evaluate properties based on that alone, your clients can miss too much. Too much detail is missing there, you know? So in any case, so you get the audio-visual modules delivered electronically. The calls, by the way, what we ask is you to try to make at least one per month. We do one a week, but we alternate the night of the week. So next week will be Wednesday night, for example, then it might be Thursday or Tuesday. Again, because I have parents and children too, and I know every night I can't be every Tuesday night. So we alternate that, and we record them. So even if you can't make it, you actually get the recording, the audio-visual recording the next day delivered in your email. So you can listen to it in your car, put it on your phone, listen to it that way. That way you stay up. And let's see here. I give you all the marketing stuff that's in there. I give you all the calculators and spreadsheets. Again, the intention is for you to learn, but more importantly to give to your clients, for them to use. Because the more they use, the more educated they become, the better, the more successful they'll be, the more successful you'll be. I do give you my contract clauses. You'll like this. You know how investors will say, I want to use these forms. I got them off the internet, right? And they're usually pretty crappy, and our brokers don't like them. Do you like those, Debbie, when you get those? We don't allow them. So here's what I do. I'll say, you know what, we're going to use the PAR form, but I'll take your investor language and I'll put it in an addendum, and we'll attach the addendum to the sales agreement. That way, as a brokerage company, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. As investors are happy. But anyways, I give you all those clauses I developed over all the years, okay? You get the email support, and I like that because I'm on the road a lot, and when I'm driving back to Ontario tonight, but every night this week I was in a different hotel. So when I'm done making my calls for the day, I eat dinner, I'll work or I'll read, but more importantly, I go through all the emails that you guys send in, and I get back to you, and I actually use the emails in the next coaching call. Unless you tell me, hey Gary, this is confidential, I'll use the examples because other people will learn from it. By the way, one really key important point here. The calls there's graduates on the call, people who've been through the program like last year. There's people who were like in module 5 and 6 on the call, and then people who are in module 1 and 2. And here's what we discovered. Let's say you're in module 2, and you're in another group in module 4, and you had a question, you got your answer. All of a sudden, something you just learned in module 2, where you get the what and the how, now all of a sudden you hear the practical application from one of your colleagues, and the why kicks in. It's just an awesome way to keep people on track. But more importantly, you'll hear people talk about their letter campaigns, their workshops, negotiating. Because I also give you some negotiating techniques to use, because in investor deals, you've got to be creative sometimes. I give you some of the tricks, like what happens with multiple offers, and there's some neat tricks there we use to get your offers accepted. You hear all this stuff, and the more you hear it, the more you're engaged, the better off you're going to be working with your clients. So I can promise you this: if you can imagine a client or agent relationship, the more you're giving them information tools, the more you're serving them and giving them due diligence clauses and negotiating techniques, the more closely tied they will be to you. And people who don't like to go shop around, if they're happy with who they have, they won't go anywhere else. Think about it. Yep. Okay, sorry, back to this. Multiple streams of income. There was one more thing I should have showed you. So let me flip through here and I'm going to keep talking. When I speak to other groups, I go through more of the presentation, but at KW Market Centers, I have a different approach that I take. We instruct, and then if you guys are interested, then later on we'll talk more. But I call this there's 8 ways you can make money with this. There's actually more, but if you think about traditional agents, typically there's one way they're making money. They're serving owner occupants. But those agents are at risk when the economy turns, right? In fact, when the recession, do you know we lost half of our agents? We lost half our agents. Keller Williams was the only company that grew through those years. Keller Williams and my company, Wynn Realty. That's why we merged. In any case, if you're working with investors, and I love working with guys buying rentals because that was mostly what I did. But what happens after the guy buying rentals buys about 10 properties? He's going to need something. He's going to need management. And he'll go to you. Now, in most KW offices, we do allow you to take on a few properties on your own because you're underneath the broker's umbrella. But when you get to a certain size, we generally will have you set up your own LLC to separate you from the broker. Different tax ID, you'll have to get your brokers at that point. You can still be with Keller Williams, but we want you to separate your property management division if it's growing like that. Mine grew like crazy. Mine went from like 40 units to 700 units overnight. It was just unbelievable. And by the way, it was all word of mouth. All word of mouth. I didn't get no money. I talked about working with flippers. I love those guys. But you can see how easy it is to have at least 3 streams of income. And that's very important because when you have 3 streams of income, if something changes economically, generally speaking, you still got 2 streams of income that you can rely on. That's really important. In our lives, being an agent is not easy. When I first got my license, I thought, this is a piece of cake. I don't even know what these people do. Well, now I know what we do. It's hard work. And what I discovered is most of us want our freedom, right? We want to have freedom of our scheduling and freedom to do what we want to do when we want to do it. The challenge is if you also like that steady income like I did, remember I came from a conservative background. I struggled with, when I was investing, I'd have a bunch of money this month and no money next month. Working with investors, low levels of field, it basically gives you a steady stream of income. So it allows you to have your freedom of an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur, but have more of a steady cash flow coming in, okay?
Investors buy all year long too. They buy in December
Yep.
when you're starving to death, in January.
Yep.
And they also buy in recessions. So they're really good to deal with.
They kind of take advantage of that time when everything's down because the deals are going to be better.
Oh, nothing's selling, so they get better deals.
Yeah.
Like in December when properties are sitting on the market, nobody's buying them, they get much better deals.
The name of the game is consistency. So I know, like for me, I have dealt with owner occupants, but I learned to start handing those off as referrals. But I will never get rid of that business because I want to have multiple streams of income. I've got multiple streams now. Any case, so we go over that. I didn't know we had to do this in the beginning, but it turns out we have to have a guarantee. So we do have a guarantee. And my promise or my guarantee is if you do this, if you decide to go forward with this, and you go through the whole, by the way, you get a whole year of the weekly coaching calls. Ends up being it's like $20 a week or something. The training ends up like, we're kind of giving that to you for free, the actual material. But if you can't make this work, it will give you your money back. It hasn't happened yet. Of course, it hasn't been a whole year either. but most people, I'll give you an example. We had 2 guys go through in November and December. They got their license in November, went through the program. It was 5 weeks then. We just had it over a week. By December, we were at a RIA meeting. It was like the week before Christmas. And they happened to show up there. I didn't know they were going to be there. I said, well, this is pretty awesome. I was speaking. I get to call on them and say, hey, can you give us a quick how's it going so far? One guy, Terry Rogney, by the way, I give you other people's names and numbers. If you ever want to call them, you can talk to them and pick their brain. How did they do this? One guy had 7 listings in 1 week. Another guy, Justin Betters, actually was with another company. We recruited him in, had 5 listings in 1 week. Just doing that letter campaign I was telling you about. That was it. Highly specifically worded, specific recipient, specific property, and that's why it works. So in any case, I guarantee you do get to use all of the stuff that's in here. I write blogs, I write articles, all that stuff you get to use. I will tell you this though, this is kind of a funny story. Make sure you change the contact information, because Beverly, who takes all these calls from the prospects, she doesn't know where they came from. So we found out that some students they were putting stuff out there, hey, go read this blog. They weren't changing anything, and some consumer would read it and call the number, 800 number, and then Beverly was screaming. And wouldn't it be ironic if we actually referred that guy right back to you? That actually would be sad. I don't want to do that. You know, I want you guys to get your own transactions. I want you to generate your own referrals. But in any case, you get all the marketing material. We do have a strategy session. Usually people wait till about the 3rd week, because that's the first part of the behavioral stuff. And at that point, you'll figure out, okay, I know what I'm going to do now. I want to kind of figure out what my particular niche is. Is anybody here a former teacher? How about a former, was it military?
Yes.
All right, are you retired?
Yes.
All right, how about this? Create your own little workshop, your own community. We're Langsford Investors Group for Retired Military. I can promise you not a single other agent in this entire MLS is doing that. Only you would do it. Do you think that you'd get some feedback, some responses from retired military guys?
Yes.
I know you would. We had a guy in Portland, Maine do this for Coast Guards. Portland, Maine Investor Group for Coasties, he called it. Coasties is a name for Coasties. He's absolutely crushing it. Dana Truman, look him up. Dana Truman up in Portland, Maine. So the strategy call sometimes is about like that. We help you figure out with a niche within a niche, what group can you go after? Oh, we had one girl in Hampton, Virginia, single mom with 3 kids, and I said, you know what? Nobody's done this before. Try this. Hampton Investors Group for single moms. Guess what happened? Do you think that there would be some affinity there, some loyalty? Those people stick with her through thick and thin. They help you out. Now they're babysitting each other's kids. All that, it's amazing. And she's making some good money. So we do that kind of stuff. Sometimes our strategy calls, you just want to hone in on a particular technique, or you want to invest yourself. And hey, Garrett, can you? And by the way, you do learn how to invest through this. You're going to be, by default, you're going to learn how to invest. And I promise you, you'll learn even more from your clients taking them out. So in any case, we did add a tax strategies module, and the reason came about because people are starting to figure out, hey, what can we do for tax preparation? How can we help these guys? So I gave them all the 10 things they can do with tax preparation time. One of them is a technique you do want to learn. And by the way, all this stuff, you don't have to be experts at it. You just need to know where it is, how it's used, and give it to your clients. But there's one strategy, I'm sorry, oh, that was out there. One strategy that has to be, you have to use it at offer time, and it has to do with negotiating. So you negotiate what you're doing with commissions and transfer taxes. It doesn't always have to be split. You can shift the liability of who pays what, and that person gets the expense benefit, and yet you don't change the net proceeds to the seller, and the transaction, the cost basis drops, so everything drops from their tax basis, everything. Just neat stuff you can use. I'm probably getting too detailed here.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm sorry. But when you read it, it'll make sense. More importantly, your clients will know what you're talking about. They'll read it and they'll want to use it. So we give all that. So at that point, that's what we offer. And I'm not allowed to sell in a market center. So all I can do at this point is give you a questionnaire if you are interested. And the questionnaire is not a test. What I'm asking is, are you already working with, are you an investor yourself? Are you an agent? Everybody here is an agent, so you just check it off. What was your production? If you don't want to tell me, don't just leave it blank. But I do want to know where you want to go with it. I kind of need to know where you are right now, so I know how to help you. Because what I show you and help you with might be completely different than this guy over here. Because we just talked during the break, and I know what I would do with you. Your beginning, we'd actually just work on your sphere. That's what we do. And you get your first group and get that one transaction, you know? So in any case, I do ask if you read and take classes. Again, it's not a test, but that tells me if you're a learner and what your mindset is, and then what your interest level is in this, and if it's okay to call you. Does that sound like a fair, reasonable thing to do? Non-salesy, non-pressure, you know? And if you are, I'll hand these out. If you are interested, please leave these with me today because I'm driving, and I'll be able to, you know what, I need to scan these in actually. So let me hand these out. If you want one, take one. If you don't, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. You wanna, okay. Just leave it blank so I can, remember I'm cheap. I wanna save paper. If you're not interested, I will take the paper back. See there, if you're interested, I'll be in there. Here you go. How you doing, sir? Good. How are you? All right, good. There you go. By the way, Gretchen Means in the, you ever met her?
No.
She's in the Peters Township office. Her husband was in the presentation there. He actually bought the, he sat right beside her, he bought the program. Yeah, it's gotta be, he's getting his license and their children have their license. They're gonna come through as a team. So we do, if you guys need more? Okay. We do bring through teams. Anybody here ever heard of the name Carrie Shaw? She was the #1 producer in teams for Northern Virginia for several years. Well, she had like 5 different teams. One of them was an investor team, and we took her whole team through the program for one price, one fee. We did add a payment plan. We also added a scholarship program, just like Bold. So is anybody here like brand new licensee? Just got your license? You got anything on the books yet? Okay. What we do, if it's okay with your team leader, you do have to put down a small deposit for the cover materials. But we'll do a generic referral form. So for the first time you cash a check, then you can pay for the balance of the program through your check, just like Bold. Has anybody here taken Bold before? Yeah. That is an awesome, awesome program. If you haven't taken it, you won't learn stuff like this, but it really, for you, by the way, it might be an excellent program. It'll help you really build your confidence. And so when you're identifying all these people through Bold, you'll know what to say to them. You'll have the confidence speaking to them. Bold is an awesome program.
The first step to Bold is Tuesday. First step to Bold.
First step to Bold, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. So if you guys could leave those with me here, and then if you, some people already know they want to do this. If you already know you want to do this, just, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you're good enough. Just grab me, I'll give you the form for that. Before I leave, I mean, sometimes the Ds are like, I know it, just give it to me now. If not, don't worry, we'll go through the form probably on the call. I'll be in the road today. I may call you Sunday. I think I put on there 48 hours tonight, because I'm driving back from Ontario on Sunday. And what we'll do is we'll go through a little bit of a strategy session to see if there's a real good match there, you know. But if you already know right now, just tell me and I'll give you that form and we can take care of that now, you know. Okay, yeah, you're in good shape already. You got it figured out.
I think so. Been doing it for 30 years.
Good. Hey, you know what? I may want to interview you sometime. I do that. You guys ever heard of a guy named Jason Gizzi? He's in the media office. He's just like us. He kills it out there with investors. And I met another guy yesterday in Allentown. I can't remember his name. So I like interviewing you guys, just to show these guys that, yeah, it's not just me. There's probably 2 or 3 of us in any region that are really, really knocking it out of the park. You know? So, okay, I appreciate it. It'll give you a little bit of fame and some notoriety. Yeah.
I'm already notorious.
Okay. Let's see here. And while you're doing that, if anybody has any questions at all, you know, what time is it anyways? 20 after 1? 10 after 1, okay.
So what were you thinking of? Moms know about investment group? Carrie,
Yeah.
I was thinking
Can you
more
please
about
break down the cost
investment group
for
for
us?
single moms.
If you want me to, I generally don't do that, but if it's okay, I will.
Please do.
Okay, so here's the way this works. when we first rolled it out last year, it was $2,000, but we only were getting veterans. We wanted newer people, so we dropped it in half. So it's $1,000, or you can do the payment plan, which is $100 a month for 12 months. The reason we did that is it's like after 50 weeks, it ends up being about $20 a week, and we figure, you know what? If you go to lunch, you're going to spend $20. So we wanted to make it somehow more doable for people. Does that sound like a fair deal?
Thank you, yes.
Yeah. When we did that, the enrollment literally doubled. So about half the people do the full thing because they want to save $200. The other half of the people generally do the payment plan. Either way is okay with me. You know, we've got the systems installed to be able to handle it. It is important to, if you think you want to do it, let's make sure we talk, because next week will be a whole different group of people. And if I bring you through close to your own group, it helps a lot, because if you know if you're on a call and what's your first name? What's your name? Debbie. And Debbie says, you know, I just got my first deal, and you hear that, you know she's in the office. There's something about it's a pleasant way. It's not a threatening way. It's a pleasant way to hear that another one of your colleagues had just had a. And it's like logically it helps. So we notice that. So we try to get people together in groups.
What if you wanna start later?
You can do that. Yeah. We've had people, we had one girl actually, she came through last July, she was in the beta